3 out of the 4 remaining semifinalists have made it to the finals of one of our North American regionals, Subi. These 2 fit the bill. Only one can go through to face NRG or Envy. Game 1 coming your way.
And Stacks, the desk really touched on the offensive powerhouses that both of these teams are. Both teams battling back and forth for first and second place, for goals for, shots for, assists. I mean, that's all these players know, and you see why as First Killer and AJ go up for that one. A little bit of a triple commit from FaZe Clan, but not punished on that end as G2 couldn't get out in time.
The speed of G2 on display as they score 24 seconds in. A quick jaunt downfield after that giveaway by Illusion. Great pressure there from Drees.
Yeah, and the first 15 seconds were really indicative of how that was going to go. Way too aggressive out of the gates from FaZe Clan. They got punished for it. They've got to be careful covering up that back line, especially with that third player, is JNAP's good 50 in midair. And if you're G2, you love to get that little 1-goal handicap to just go up against FaZe Clan, because goals do not come easily against them, especially Stacks. You know how many demos they bring forth offensively and defensively.
Very festive mood here at Manfield Night. Saw it look like a moment ago Chicago on his face cam wearing a little Santa hat. First Killer's got one on his car.
Well, that brings up a more important argument there, Stacks, that maybe we could have later. Is it time to pull out the Christmas lights?
Oh,
or
my
is it not? But it doesn't matter.
It's a Christmas gift here as everybody comes up empty. They had to be expecting another touch out of First Killer, and it never came.
Gotta respect that when First Killer goes up, but odd that G2 sent 2 for that fake as FaZe Clan get that easy goal back, and just like that, we're all tied up yet again.
Three's denied by First Killer. Here goes Chicago. Try to drop one down in behind AJ, and the goals are coming fast and furious.
Oh, this couldn't have been a better shot. Look at Drees, takes AJ out, and Chicago goes right where AJ was. Beautiful play drawn up by G2.
Figuring to have a lot of goals in this series. If our first 90 seconds is any indication, JNAP's with the fake. AJ still just passes out to Illusion, and the only reason he doesn't score is because he misses high. Nothing to do with the defense out of G2 there. First Killer denied by Drees this time, and that will send FaZe back to the center line, but only that far. FaZe looking for more. Illusion can't drop it down under the bar. A couple great looks out of FaZe early, and they just can't convert for a second time. They'll get another look. AJ whiffed on it, and First Killer takes over at midfield.
Yeah, odd. G2, both Drees and Chicago went for opposite mid boosts, and no one went for the ball as that net's open, but Drees cheated up a little too far forward, but JNAPS goes far post and in. What an angle on this shot.
As far left as he could possibly put it without hitting the post. Bang! Pinpoint out of JNAPS. 3 for G2 in 2 minutes. And converting on the opportunities they have, while FaZe has missed a couple gimmies.
So we've got 4 total goals already in this matchup, and only 1 save. 0 defense, all offense.
What is it?
Pedal to the metal, baby.
JNAP's just launching another forward, but here comes First Killer. All eyes have been on First Killer this whole split. Of course, everything he does now under a magnifying glass. FaZe has clinched a spot in the major, trying to clinch the 2nd seed in North America. They would do so with a win here. G2 themselves could also take that number 2 spot with a win here in this series. Would need maybe a little help along the way. Drees will pop this out. And just look how fast G2 moves downfield. Again, not taking any of their opportunities for granted here. They came to play. AJ quickly around, but Chicago intercepts. This will waterfall down, and First Killer has that out to the corner. No reprieve, though, for FaZe Clan in their own defensive end. Chicago gets blocked by Illusion, and that's the maybe the best defensive play FaZe has made so far in game one. Chicago coming in again, and AJ stopped that too.
Great dive on the goal line there, but G2 still not done as Drees can't get that one to go in, and First Killer, good patience on that ball, and finally, FaZe Clan gonna get a little bit of a clear here, allow all their members to boost up, and the offense immediately begins as JNAP's forced to go up and get that save off of the back wall. And Stacks, I feel like after the first regional, really validated the pickup of First Killer coming over to FaZe and just showed like what an offensive team this roster could perform with. And I mean, it's just incredible to see First Killer and AJ. There were talks of there's only one ball and are they going to fight over it? But man, I've got to say, so unselfish between the two of them because they realize the potential they have playing together.
FaZe Clan, winners of the North American Open, failed to make the playoffs in the Haunted Hallows Cup. Drees can't get this away from Illusion as FaZe Clan comes down to 30 seconds, needing 2 goals in game one. Illusion beat out here. G2 wasting more time. JNAP's tied up with AJ, and AJ breaks free, looking for Illusion, and he missed high and wide. Follow up from First Killer nowhere near the mark, and game one seems to be a wrap with one more clear out of G2. The Haunted Hallows Cup finalists closing in on a game one dub. G2 all about it here in our first semifinal.
And I think the big takeaway here, Stacks, from game number one is, yes, G2, tons of offense, and JNAP's getting involved early and often. But look over at First Killer and look down at that shot column. No shots on target from First Killer. And if FaZe Clan is going to be successful in taking down G2 Esports to fight for that number 2 spot in Sweden, he's got to get involved offensively.
8 shots out of FaZe Clan, 6 coming from Illusion, only 1 found the net. But then you do the math, right? G2 only forced to make 5 saves. All those shots that were close enough to be considered shots, but not require any defensive effort whatsoever. FaZe has to rein those in if they want to make it to a second final.
And I would have to also argue FaZe Clan need to get some offensive plays started because it seemed like every single time they were getting a shot on target, it was out of a transition from defense and then immediately turned back into their own half. So just really no sustained offense from them. I'd like to see that change here in game number 2. Ooh!
Oh, first shot from Chicago, bringing off the post. And he could not connect with Drees on the follow-up. JNAP's up for this as Chicago continues to look around for boost. He's found some and can send this away. G2 scored very early on in game 1, called into action on defense to start game 2. Drees to Chicago. A little bit wide, Illusion will collect, and again, you see Drees has had Illusion in his sights for much of the first 6 minutes of this series.
Well, just such an integral part of the FaZe Clan offense. Yeah, we know First Killer and AJ known for their mechanical prowess, but so much rests on the shoulders of Illusion. It's the starter of many of their plays, as right now he's holding down the goal line and forced to just slow that ball down, go into the corner, and that's a great 50 from Chicago, but met in air by AJ. And G2 looking to get some offense started. 3 shots so far, and this one's definitely slowed down compared to game number 1.
Almost cruel irony that Illusion seems to have a target painted on his car after he set the RLCS record for demos in a game during the Haunted Hallows Cup. Here's Drees with JNAP's flanking to the left. Pass never gets there. First Killer shuts him out. And a pinch way downfield, not on target, but a good release out of the zone, if only for a moment. Big shot from Drees.
Goal.
It's wide open. JNAP scores.
I mean, you got to respect this shot from Drees. An absolute bullet from midfield, and First Killer and AJ pinch that ball up, but JNAP's waiting to poach on the goal line. Gets G2's first goal here in game number 2.
So G2 scores first in both games so far. FaZe has had an answer, at least in game one. They couldn't keep up. Aleutian looking for first across the way, not connecting. And the G2 defense kind of slowing things down. I think content to have this ball jammed up in the corner. It's not in a scoring position. Now it is, and First Killer scores right down the middle.
Look at the harassment on the goal line. Keep your eyes on Drees as he is just getting accosted and can't get up in the air. First Killer recognizing that just sends it right down center street and ties this game up.
The number 2 and number 3 seeds doing battle here on Forbidden Temple. JNAP just bulldozes through AJ, and Chicago puts it in for good measure.
Quid pro quo. If you're going to bump, so will I. JNAPs gets the 50, but sends AJ out of the picture. And just like that, FaZe Clan give up the lead.
Chicago scoring there what otherwise would have been JNAP's 4th goal of this series. Chicago fake. He lets Drees take over, and the shot's still blocked away. Now JNAP's trying to keep this jammed up in the corner. And Chicago with a good win goes right to AJ. G2 has been all over FaZe Clan for the first game and a half. JNAP's got around AJ, but Aleutian came away with the ball. Good opportunity for FaZe, shut out by Chicago. First Killer, trying to pull the string there. And Drees not fooled. Again, the defense of G2 up to the task, wise to all the tricks that FaZe Clan is trying to pull.
Yeah, right now it's just very rudimentary offense coming from FaZe Clan. And I say that with the utmost respect, obviously. Yes, flip resets and all that, not easy, but when you're G2, it's easy to see it coming and easy to defend. You just stay on the ground until you realize, okay, I just have to go up to cover out all the angles that they're going for. And easily defended as Drees swoops in. Gonna slow this ball down in the corner, and First Killer sends that one away, but pulls out Aleutian out of net, and a slight advantage for G2 turned away.
Here goes Drees, not around Aleutian. And First Killer will collect. He's got AJ downfield. Drees trying to chase down First Killer. Can't catch him. FaZe Clan down a goal after dropping a 3-1 decision in game one. Now you can see the offense picking up a little bit, but AJ has to back off. Drees one-on-one with AJ, and AJ just slams the door shut right in his face. And here comes FaZe again.
That's a tough stop there from AJ. Gotta make sure you are grounded for long enough, but not too long to let that ball sail over your head. And less than 1 minute to go here, Stacks, and it seems like irony is the topic of discussion for today, because I bring up the fact that First Killer had no shots there in game number 1. Well, that one right there was his 4th. But you look over at AJ and Aleutian, nothing right now.
That's unreal.
FaZe Clan cannot get their offense fully working.
This will be a shot from somebody other than First, maybe not. AJ dropped down to Aleutian, and he sailed that high. Doesn't register. This one does from First Killer, and it's still deflected away by JNAPs off the rebound. And here comes G2, trying to burn away the final 13 seconds. FaZe got to get downfield, and First Killer got the demolition, but it still knocked him backwards. Drees scores to put away game 2.
This was actually Chicago going on the offensive here, looking to get First Killer out of the picture, and it worked. He did get demoed for his efforts, but First Killer bumped back into the corner, and G2 go-ahead goal here to extend that lead to 2. And game 2 gonna be going in favor G2 Esports, and now the big question is gonna be, if you're FaZe Clan, do you take the timeout now or kind of press your luck going into game number 3?
Well, it's back-to-back 3-1 decisions in favor of G2 to start this series. And, you know, to peel the curtain back a little bit in all the pre-match preparations, G2 came ready for this. FaZe was a lot later getting into the lobby to begin with. Don't seem as though they've been the most organized coming into today's action, and the slow start certainly seems to belie all of that. G2 on a roll for games 1 and 2.
Yeah, normally FaZe Clan definitely one of the more chaotic teams in the RLCS, but at least there's normally some semblance of normalcy to that. But right now, it just seems like it is just so strewn apart. Just what is happening with FaZe Clan. Definitely not all on the same page. Game number 1, it seemed like AJ and Illusion, okay, they're ready to play. And then game number 2, all first killer, but still not the full FaZe Clan we know and love. And right now, looks like the pause is coming, the timeout. Actually, technical pause.
Yeah, it's technical. So no
timeout.
It's the not timeout.
Yeah, they still get a little time to work things out, which I think they greatly need their stacks.
Yeah, any kind of pause at this point benefits FaZe Clan as they try to solve this G2 puzzle here. You talked about the shooting totals. First killer with no shots on target in game 1. Our friend Direct, our official RLCS statistician, telling us it's happened 15 times.
Which is crazy.
For first killer between RLCS X and now this fall split. I did not think that number would be anywhere near that because of how much you think about first killer as just an offensive well here. But it happened there. And then in game 2, as you mentioned, Subi, he had all 5 of FaZe's shots. Nothing from AJ or Illusion.
Right. And when it comes to first killer, you think, okay, well, when it rains, it pours, right? Yeah, he's going to bring a ton of shots, but you don't expect that many droughts from him. So, yeah, you got to talk about the Haunted Hollows and how they failed to even really make it to the playoffs in that one. At least make it to the championship Sunday. But right now, it's looking like the Haunted Hollows rearing its ugly head and the nightmare is starting to come true.
This one from first killer, the 6th consecutive FaZe Clan shot. And that one also denied. Drees will try to carry this to the corner, and first killer picked his pocket. See if FaZe Clan's offense kicks into gear this time. Shot just a little bit wide out of G2. They do not take much time getting onto the orange half of the field. First killer coming back, though, and he just could not get a ball around for AJ. Illusion will try, and this goes over first killer's head. Still, he'll have to retreat for the midfield boost and go all the way back to his own back line, only to give that away to Chicago, who brings it right back in.
Oh, a little bit of miscommunication there from G2. JNaps and Drees both kind of flinched at that ball, so both turned away, but just like that, right back on offense. Chicago tries to steal that ball away. Nobody up for G2 as FaZe gonna put this into the corner, but can't get that double in. First killer, great read there to come out into the box, take away all available shooting lanes from Drees, and maintain 0-0s. JNaps just got bumped out of goal, but gets back to cover up that defensive line.
Drees intercepts first killer's centering attempt, and he will start the counterattack now for G2. This is the longest I believe G2's gone without scoring first in a game. They scored first very early in game 1. Got the first goal in game 2 as well. JNaps couldn't stop AJ. This will be the first shot from somebody other than first killer.
What a save!
And it's denied by Drees. Follow up from first, saved as well.
Oh, mama. AJ had that net painted red, and still Drees coming out of nowhere to stop that one. I cannot believe that he not only got that read, but sent that ball to a safe space to keep it out of harm's way. Incredible stop from Drees and G2.
First killer couldn't get to this ball. Illusion can. That means first can turn as Chicago has to bring it back to his own backboard. Oh, and if first killer got a touch there that threw off AJ's read. And again, FaZe Clan just not on the same page. This squad is as G2 moves downfield. Chicago maybe looking to set up Drees, but he's got to retreat. Here comes AJ. 1-on-2, but it's Drees that comes out on top, and JNaps quickly downfield. 1-on-1 with first, and he's up to the task. Now the action moving rapidly downfield, and AJ scores. FaZe has the lead for the first time.
AJ with the pick 6 here. He saw that pass coming all day long, and Chicago committed way too much on that one. An easy placement from AJ, just going all the way downfield in between the dotted lines.
It's Drees, the young phenom. First onto the scene during RLCS X, replacing the retiring Rizzo. earned his spot with his play there. JNaps looking for Chicago. Drees was also up. It's JNaps again now to Drees. G2 keeping the pressure on, and Chicago denied by AJ. Drees blocked by Illusion, and he saved it. Follow-up, Chicago drive right over first killer.
Oh, the shot placement here from G2, making FaZe Clan scramble. First Illusion goes, then swings by first killer. Incredible shot there from Chicago. Tons of power behind that ball, and eventually wither away the defense of FaZe Clan.
This kickoff goes right to JNaps. G2 looking to pour it on now. Chicago got a long way to go to get to this ball. That's a great pass to first killer. He's got JNaps in the air, and JNaps still made the stop. G2 again cuts out FaZe, and first killer up to the task this time defensively as well. But he side flips. Chicago double, not on target.
And you brought up the fact of Drees coming in last season, RLCS replacing Rizzo, and so many question marks around him as a player, and can he fulfill that role that Rizzo brought to the table? And right out of the gate, Stacks, I was on his side 100%. I said, give this kid an opportunity, let him go to work, and let's see what G2 can do together. And this season, the 21-2022 season, has just been insane with him. G2 looked like a brand new, revitalized squad, and it looks like JNaps is a rookie alongside him. It's incredible how long he has been at the top and just continues to climb that as first killer. Gets an incredible save there.
All Drees did was score 26 goals during the Haunted Hallows Cup to help lead G2 to that final. Outstanding performance, kind of trial by fire. Now we're tied in game 3. Got a chance to set up maybe a game-winning play before we go to overtime. Illusion gave it away to JNaps, dropped down to Chicago, and if they had an extra second, Drees was going to put one through the net into Utopia.
My goodness, that was quite an opportunity there, and I love the idea, the unselfish play, but Chicago was just unable to get that ball enough to lift it high enough so Drees could get that shot on target. So here we go. First overtime of the series. G2, FaZe Clan, neck and neck here. It's been a defensive battle here in game 3, not what we're used to when we see these players take the pitch.
Illusion got nudged by Chicago, but AJ will bring it through. Illusion waiting, and he can't get to this ball. JNaps trying to avoid AJ and does so, but AJ has at least forced him out of the play for a moment. Drees with Chicago circling in behind him. Chicago required and does get the clear. Drees serving one up for JNaps, and first killer makes sure he doesn't get to it. Oh, that's a miss though from Illusion. Big drive, and it's high from Chicago.
That's a little off their mark there. G2, great opportunity, and they're going to stay on offense here. And G2 so far in the Fall Classic, great jobs in overtime, 3-0, but FaZe Clan definitely have their work cut out for them when it goes into extra minutes. Only 2 for 4, sorry. It's just abysmal rate for OTs, and got to clean it up as first killer diving on the goal line to get that save.
G2 has not lost in overtime here in the Fall Classic. JNaps couldn't get contact, and it goes right back courtesy of Illusion, so G2 resets. We saw some lengthy overtimes yesterday. This one, I can't imagine it gets too long. JNaps looking over for Chicago. And JNaps was trying to get Illusion just circled around him, and Drees beaten out by Illu. Here we go. Braxton couldn't get anything going there, and it comes right back.
Oh my gosh.
By Chicago. That was setting up Drees, and first killer wise to it. A lot of familiarity here, of course, between these two. They've seen it all from each other. Gonna have to be even trickier than that. AJ missed this on the ceiling, so Illusion has to collect all by himself, and it's Drees who intercepts. Looking for Chicago in the midfield. And that passing play cut out, so now FaZe can try to take over.
A great pass from JNaps over to Drees to get their offense going, and Drees up high. First Killer gets that flip reset just to delay it enough and make JNaps bite on that shot, as FaZe Clan going to get an opportunity here. Lucian goes up, but easily turned away there by JNaps, and those are those shots that you got to be a little more creative. As you're talking about stacks, they've seen everything come out, and you got to make the defense expect the unexpected, or not expect the unexpected, because they've seen everything at this point.
That's a great job by Drees on the backboard, realizing he had served that up in a shooting position, made the save to follow up as well, but here's a Lucian for the win, denied by JNaps. The most saves that G2's been required to make in a game so far. It took 3 minutes of overtime. As this goes downfield back into the FaZe end, everybody trying to reset on boost. First Killer to start the attack. AJ to follow. And JNaps sends it right back to midfield. And it could be G2 on the prowl again. Missed by Chicago. And that could be trouble as JNaps struggling to get back. First Killer dropped it down, and it's still cleared away by Drees.
Pinch not favoring FaZe Clan there, as Drees going to send that right back towards the midfield, get the second touch as well, and G2 out of the gates, shot on target, and Chicago with the cleanup. G2 take down FaZe Clan in overtime.
Watch Drees get this downfield and tell me you'd rather have Daniel. Okay, fine. 3 lead for G2 here, 3-0 as they take it in OT. G2 on fire here in the semis.
And people talk about that stacks of, should they drop him? Should they pick someone up? Should they have gone for First Killer? And
absolutely crazy talk.
I have argued against that, and I believe it was even on the desk for one of the pre-shows. I said, no, if I'm G2, I would rather have Drees than First Killer. And it's not a knock against First Killer. I think individually, probably a better player, but for a fit for G2, Drees is plug and play, and you couldn't pick a better player.
2-1 to G2 in game 3. 3-0 in the series. We're not being told of any timeout here, so FaZe down 3-0 in the series. We'll have a moment getting started here in game 4 before we head to Utopia Coliseum. But look, G2 showed up here in the semifinals. You can tell there's a bit of a hunger there now that they're this close to getting to the grand finals again and maybe getting another shot at NRG.
Man, I'll tell you what, when you tell Chicago and JNaps that there is implications to go to a live event, their ears perk up, and you can tell that they are different players that take the pitch. It has just been a clinic on the field thus far, up 3-0 in favor over FaZe Clan, and it has just been all lights out for G2. Right now, 8 goals, and only one of those has been unassisted. It has just been team play up and down the field. And then the fact that they've only allowed 3 goals against the offensive powerhouse that is FaZe Clan, the rest of NA better be paying attention.
FaZe's offense, absolutely no joke. Same could be said about G2's defense. It has been on display here. Now we go to Utopia Coliseum, a sweep incoming perhaps for G2. Drees drops it down to Chicago, froze the defense long enough, and G2 scores early again.
Yeah, Drees just pops that one up just enough and lays it down for Chicago, and Chicago doing his best bowling impression, keeping that one low and fast on the ground right underneath the defense. And just like that, G2 advantage here, and they're also on match point, and Chicago popping off.
Chicago, 10 seconds into this game, has just scored his 6th goal of the series. By the way, Drees came into this series with 6 assists in the entire Fall Classic. He's got 7 in this series alone.
Incredible. Incredible for a player, not only of his age, but just how long he's been in the RLCS, or how long he hasn't been in the RLCS is a better way to put that. But just, it seems like he just gets unfazed when it comes to the big moments. It doesn't seem like he has any nerves at all.
Well, First Killer has to try and keep this away from anybody on G2, particularly JNaps, but he does manage to get that ball out. But here comes right back in. G2 on yet another attack, and that has spelled bad news for FaZe Clan. Drees will take over here out of the corner. And Illusion, all he can do is drop that down for AJ. Still looking for a quality shooting opportunity out of FaZe Clan here in Game 4, a game they must win to keep their hopes alive of claiming the #2 seed. Illusion to First Killer. This is their chance, but he's sailed it high and wide, and Chicago guides it to the corner.
And if there's ever a time for First Killer to take over and just be unhinged, let the reins be taken off, it's right now. 3.5 minutes to go. FaZe Clan down 2 goals, just missing his mark there, a little too high. I love the idea, though, just keeping G2's defense honest. But now, like I said, Stacks, time to get to work. Every opportunity in the blue half counts.
First Killer to AJ. And Illusion barrels through the defense, and the shot goes wide. That has been the story of this semifinal for FaZe Clan today.
It hurts, Stacks. I mean, it was the perfect play. It was the right place to put that shot. Just a little too much inside. And that's one that you can count. Okay, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's see if that one is going to matter.
It will. Chicago snipes the corner. He's got a hat trick. Drees has playmaker. G2 has FaZe's number.
Rolling with all cylinders firing. G2 cannot be stopped. 1/2 of Rocket League to be played, and they are just that much closer to solidifying their spot as the #2 seed in North America for the Sweden Major.
They need the win here and a little bit of help. Envy losing, I believe, in the next semifinal here against NRG. Could do that. Drees denied by AJ. And Illusion has to go all the way up, burn all of his boost to try and start the counterattack. First Killer put this nowhere near the mark. No follow-up. JNaps downfield. Drees is there. If this were a fight, they'd stop it.
Oh, Drees. Stole that one away from JNaps. Walks that one into the goal, but that's all right. He deserves it. And FaZe Clan went all in. G2 called their bluff. And G2, unless there's an absolute miracle, are going to face either NRG or Envy in the grand finals.
JNaps scored 3 early goals for G2 in this series, and since then, 2 assists, both because he had a goal stolen by Chicago and 1 stolen by Drees now.
Can we give him like half a goal for that one?
No, absolutely not. You give him a great pass, and you say you're going to like it. Here's JNaps looking maybe for Drees. Said that goes to the corner. By the way, G2 fans, you can probably rest easy. G2 has not lost a game yet this season when scoring 4 or more goals. And it's not just a sample size of 1 or 2 games. JNaps for Chicago. He can get around on this. AJ to challenge as well. And that's a good block by AJ, stopping JNaps and at least giving FaZe some semblance of hope in Game 4.
Well, Stacks, if you would have told me when I woke up this morning that we'd be looking at a 4-0 sweep in favor of G2, and not only that, but just utter obliteration of FaZe, I would have said, nope, my alarm clock hasn't gone off yet. I'm still dreaming, because that would never happen. But no, sir, this is reality. G2 looking dominant right now, and whoever gets out of that NRG Envy series, boy, oh boy, do they have their work cut out for them, because G2, not only do they look unstoppable on offense, but it just seems like nothing can get past them on the defensive half.
Hammer, nail. Drees again. 5-0 as the victory lap continues.
Why not? Just keep extending the lead, keep padding those stats, boys. G2. You could just see it. And look at Chicago. Look, it's so good with that Santa hat on. But, you know, we were talking about it when the series started, and it's not past Thanksgiving yet. I think it's too early for that.
You know what? When you put up 7 goals in a 4-0 sweep of FaZe in the semifinals, you can wear whatever you want. You are the king of the world at this point. Chicago maybe about to add another, can't get around on it. Does not matter. G2 absolutely dominates FaZe Clan in the semifinals, and it's grand finals for G2.
And GG's all around, just mutual respect shown across the field. But FaZe Clan realizing G2 definitely got the better of them there.